I'm Giovanni Gallucci for Xtrain.com, and we're talking social media. Specifically in this class, we're going over video and images on the web. And in this chapter, which is chapter 4, we want to talk about video sharing. Now, we've already discussed in the previous chapter streaming video. We're going to talk about some other types of video as well. What you're going to find is a lot of the opportunities that we have available as marketers when it comes to video are very similar. So what I want to do in some of these other classes is, we're still going to touch on the specific opportunities, but I also want to get into a little bit more detail about what the descriptions of these things are and what the user base is, especially with video sharing, because when it comes to all the different opportunities in video sharing is going to be the one that's going to have the most opportunity for us, and right now it's the hottest. Now obviously, just like with photo sharing when we talked about that, video sharing involves using a video hosting service or a website or an application to upload video clips to a website so that other folks can watch them. Typically, what you have with the video host is that they store the video on their servers and they allow other users to view the video. Now, these can be downloadable. These can be streaming like we talked about before. They can be situations where you have like iTunes that goes and grabs videos from an RSS feed and actually doesn't store the video online. They might go and grab it from your host and then drop it onto your computer. There's all kinds of technology behind it. But what we're talking about here when we're talking about this platform is the fact that I've got a conduit so that I can allow people to go somewhere on the internet and grab my video and view it in some form or fashion. Many of the services that we're talking about also have options to allow private video sharing and different publication options. So you might be able to go in, if you've got a corporate video podcast that you want to share with folks, you might be able to go in and only allow people that have authenticated username and password to be able to see that video. There's also other situations where you might want to go in for logistics sake and record 5 or 6 videos at once, but only have them released in chronological order over, say, a 5-week period. And typically you can find in some sites the opportunity to go in and actually add a publication date so that you can in one application go in and add all the content at the same time, but then stagger the actual release so people can't get to it until the date that you specify. Categories of content we're talking about, user-generated video. We're talking about the sharing platforms like white label providers, co-branded platforms, web-based video editing. Viddler is a great example of a place where you can go and take video and actually edit it online. There's been some viral marketing campaigns. Chevrolet had a very famous campaign that didn't quite go the way that they wanted to, but they stuck with it and had thick skin, where they allowed people to go in and create their own videos of a Tahoe commercial, and got a lot of buzz. And obviously, when you do stuff like that, you've got to look at some of the risks. I think in the end, it turned out okay for Chevrolet because they still got the word out there and they stuck to it, even though a lot of folks that were pro-environmentalists and progressives got up there and made some videos that weren't very positive for the Tahoe. One niche that the video sharing sites fill and the hosting sites fill is just the specific, the particular problem that they solve for users is the fact that video takes up a lot of space on the web. And so the way of video websites and sharing sites are able to be successful is they essentially give away the space for free to users. It'd be very difficult to go in and convince a user to spend $50, $60 a month so they can upload videos of Jimmy jumping off the roof and trying to land in the pool. So what they do is they'll give away the host space for free. They typically limit it to say like 100 megs per video or 10 minutes in length, and then they monetize the platform through advertising and marketing. And there's all different ways they do that. We'll talk about those in a little bit. A lot of popular services that we're talking about, ones that I'm familiar with that I like to use quite a bit, are obviously YouTube, Blip TV, Rever, Metacafe, Viddler is one that's becoming very popular. And then if you look at some social media websites like MySpace and Facebook, MySpace actually allows you to post videos to your MySpace profile. Applications like Facebook allow you to integrate content from other video sharing sites into the social network. So there we have a situation where you've got multiple social networking and social media platforms kind of coming together and creating a more complex platform that can be utilized for marketing and advertising. Let's talk a little bit about the users. I've got some pretty specific numbers here. This, because it's a very hot topic right now, there's all kinds of different companies out there that look at demographics, and a lot of companies, while they see it's a hot topic for users, a lot of people are spending time trying to figure out ways to monetize the space. So what we look at is in the 12 to 17-year-old age range, we got 34% of the users, 18 to 21, 37%. You see the numbers there on the screen. 22 to 26 is 30%. But the thing that's interesting about this, all the way up to 62 years old and older, the demographic is 5%. But the thing that really struck me, because these numbers looked fairly impressive, whether these are people that are content creators. These are not even the users. I mean, these numbers would be high when it comes to internet users going in and using video sharing sites. You know, to me, within the age room, this would be what I would have expected. And when I realized that these are actually numbers for the people actually producing content, it really got me excited about what the possibility is. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities out there for these folks to monetize their hobbies and what they're doing through advertising. And obviously, as marketers, we want to look for those opportunities that make most sense for our business. Let's talk about the consumers of the content. The numbers go up higher. In some case, they triple. 12 to 17-year-olds, it goes up to 49%. And here's something that's really struck me is that 18 to 21 and 22 to 26, over 50% of these users are internet users within these age groups, are heavy users of video on the internet. And then obviously we go through the other demographics. 27 to 40-year-old, very high, still 41%. I mean, for a lot of the folks that I deal with in my practice, that is a fantastic age group to be involved in. And when you're talking about 41% of the online users of the internet that are between 27 and 40 years old, that's a huge, staggering number when it comes to having a target audience to jump into. Obviously, we get into more specific niches. You can't sit there and classify everybody in that age group as one bucket of people. But that sure is a great place to start when you're talking about, using this platform to be able to get the word out about a product or service or event or whatever you have to say on the web. So let's talk about some of the opportunities we have with marketing. And again, we've talked about social media, social networking. A lot of this stuff now that you're getting through these classes should be second nature to you. You should know that there's banner advertising availability. There's link ads available. You can go in and you can plug in content or comments inside a lot of these postings and things like that. So let's talk a little bit more deeply about what we can do when we're talking about video sharing and these opportunities. I try to draw a correlation between the video sharing sites and other social networks, and when we talked in some other classes, I try to point out some areas where these things overlap. And let me tell you, in most cases, every bit of this stuff overlaps. You'd be hard-pressed to look at a video sharing site that doesn't have some of the same characteristics as a blog site, because they're essentially built on the same platform, but one is text and one's video.